Anyways,
Anyways.
OTD Sports Talk. This might be where I just start the podcast here. OTD Sports Talk. Welcome back, everybody, to the second installment of this gooder podcast.
No longer not so sports talk, even though we talk less about sports so far.
Cheers to that, my man.
So, obviously, you're a huge fan of the J.J. Watt signing.
Yes and no. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that this is one of the final pieces they need. I think my biggest concern is with Patrick Peterson
Yeah.
and I forget his name now. Fuck, the rookie linebacker.
Isaiah Simmons?
Yes. So, no, it wasn't Simmons. Oh my god! Wow, this is
He's
a terrible.
rookie linebacker. He's
No, I don't think it's the
stud.
rookie. It was maybe it
Is
was.
he a rookie?
No, there was the guy who came in to replace Chandler Jones who balled out on the end. Hakeem.
Nix? That's definitely not Nix. That's the only Hakeem
No.
though.
I had his name written down.
I don't know the Cardinals.
But anyway,
I think I still think they need to get a better set, like upgrade their secondary. J.J. Watt, obviously huge. When you got him and Jones coming off the edge, that's fucking sick. And
Hassan Reddick.
you weren't even close.
No, not even close, man. But okay, so I'm gonna jump back in there. So I think J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. That's gonna be great pressure.
Deadly
off the edge.
combination.
That's gonna be good pressure. I'm happy with that. Even if J.J. Watt, he's not recording a lot of sacks anymore, but he requires attention though, right? And that's the biggest thing.
So that's my thing is I don't know if he does anymore. I don't watch a lot of Texans games, obviously, because
They
who
suck.
does? But you don't. I just think he's been hurt more often, so maybe that's why you don't hear about him as much anymore. But ever since his like MVP season, no one's he's kind of just been downhill. Obviously, you're not going to be better than that, but
Well, I think the thing with J.J. Watt, it's not like I saw a stat somewhere and I forget the numbers, but I think he had like 8 sacks or something like that in the last 2 years, year, whatever it was. It wasn't a lot, but he had a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And that's a huge thing, right? So I think if you have Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt coming off the edge, that's going to be deadly. Those are 2 reigning defensive players of the year. You got Budda Baker in the backfield. I think what would be the smart decision, say, for Patrick Peterson, is for him to sign a 1-year deal that's cheap. Because he understands the situation that the Cardinals are in, where it's like with Tom Brady, for instance. Tom Brady's taking pay cuts so he can get better players. Patrick Peterson should take a pay cut for this year, prove to other people that he's still worth top dollar as a corner, but then that will allow them to get another DB who is equal of value of Patrick Peterson. You know what I mean? So then you can have Budda Baker, Patrick Peterson, and then bring somebody in, and then that's a fucking 3-headed monster right there almost.
Like, I think Patrick Peterson needs to be a number 2 at most. Preferably, I would like him on the slot on number 3, or even like if they have a good slot receiver, I'd like him in the slot, just because I don't think he's as good of a player anymore. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, he's still good. Like Jimmy Smith in Baltimore, at one point in time he was a stud. We paid a lot of money, and now we keep resigning him like longer term contracts, and he's our rotation. Like, it's good rotation. If someone gets hurt, he can step into the number 1, number 2 spot. But they're an excellent number 3, cover the number 3 receiver of the slot. Like, it works out perfectly.
Yeah.
But I think that is the Cardinals' biggest need, even before they added J.J. Watt, was their secondary.
Yeah.
And you guys need to shore up your – I don't know how good – if your running back sucks because your offensive line sucks, but you need a better run game. You need a run game.
Well, Kenyon Drake was like 3rd in the league, though, for rushing yards, and he started the season off slow. That was the biggest thing. He started off slow, but he picked it up second half, though. So I think with regards to offense, I don't think Larry Fitzgerald's retiring. So he's always a good player to get on 3rd down, 3rd and short. He's not going to drop a thing.
No, I mean, you got DeAndre Hopkins. You don't really need to add any more weapons. Like, obviously, pick up like someone cheap for a receiver. It's not a big deal, but I don't think you need to focus getting a receiver.
No, I don't think so either. I think if you are going to do anything to the offensive side of the ball, I think the best thing for you to do is invest your money into your offensive line.
Yeah,
because they have a good receiving core. They have Isabella. He's a good hands. Fitzgerald.
They have someone else too.
Jesus,
other than D-Hop.
Wow, we are not on a right. We're not on a roll today. They have
But I mean,
somebody else
like
though
I
for
don't.
receiver who's balling.
Do you know, are the Cardinals offensive line good or no? I don't think they are, right?
They're average. It's
Th-
something where
re-
they can,
Regardless, like you can always get a better. Your offensive line can always improve.
yeah, like they can always improve. Like they need that one or that they need that one very experienced lineman to come in there and kind of right the
I
ship.
mean, if you guys want to trade for what the hell's his name? Not Ronnie Stanley. What the fuck's his name? The guy from Baltimore that wants out. Is it
Christian Kirk, sorry, Christian
or
Kirk.
Orlando? Oh yeah, Christian Kirk's good. Yeah,
He's a
but if
ball.
you guys got like Orlando Brown Jr. from the Ravens, that'd be a solid
Mhm.
pickup for you guys because
Yeah, and I think
he
yeah,
moved over to left tackle because our left tackle got hurt, and then now he's like apparently his goal, or he told his dad, was I always want to be a left tackle in the NFL. So he told the Ravens like I'm not going back to right. So now we're kind of forced to trade him,
mhm.
which sucks because our offensive line already struggles. But I
Well,
hope we get
okay.
a good package
What
for
do you
him.
think about this idea? Who's the Miami Dolphins linebacker? I forgot his name. The Von.
Kyle Van Noy
Yeah.
that got cut.
So because his contract, $30 million and guaranteed.
You know what?
He's
I understand.
what's
It
that?
only saves them 10 mil.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's a
And
stupid.
he's like, from interviews I seen to, he's like seems like a good leader, like in the locker room. Like he talks about being a leader in that locker room. He's got that experience. He's won a Super Bowl. That's a guy you want in your locker room. I feel like he has that experience. He's played with the Patriots. He's won Super Bowls. He's a leader out there, which is what you want and need. Why are you cutting him?
My only thing is, unless there was something else in the works that they needed the cap space, right? Because
Maybe
and the thing with the Dolphins is they were riding the ship. You know, they had a good season. There was a lot of optimism going around there, and he was
their
kind of
defense
the
was solid this year.
yeah, they were good this year, and he was the like not say focal point, but he was like one of the main
He's a
reasons.
big part of it.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like it doesn't make sense at all. But what I think that Arizona might want to do, and this would just kind of complete their defense. Like maybe they definitely still have to get a good corner. They have to get a new number one because Patrick Peterson is
He's
good.
not.
He's good out of 12 to 14 of the games for the year,
Yeah.
or not even. I guess 12 probably. Like 4 games, he's gonna get burnt a lot. Like DK Metcalf torched him
Yeah.
because that's just the difference of being
Bigger, faster, stronger.
exactly right. And DK Metcalf's younger, right? So like 12 of the
Listen,
games, Patrick Pearson's gonna do good enough to shut down their number one. But when you get to those really good teams in the playoffs, like
those top tier receivers, he's not
yeah,
is not good enough anymore.
exactly right. But if you bring in, I
I don't
think
even know who a
Cardinals should
free
go
agent.
after him, man, because he'll sign a cheap contract probably. He'll go somewhere where there's a lot of hope of winning, and I think
I thought JJ Watt was signing a fucking cheap contract.
well, there was a source that came out today, and they said that the Browns and Pittsburgh, I think it was, offered
Colts.
him similar
It said
contracts,
it said Colts,
Colts, and then there was
but
one other team that offered a bit more, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
okay, supposedly. But
I might be
also,
fucking that up though.
I seen a tweet today from Pat McAfee because I watch his shit all the time. But he said after he heard that he checked with his sources, and he's on texting basis with the Colts GM, and he said with his sources they did not offer him more money. So that could be complete bullshit.
I mean, at the end of the day, all these sources were saying anywhere but Arizona, and then he goes to Arizona.
I mean, we weren't saying anywhere but Arizona, but it wasn't like a big talked about place. Like no one was like, "Oh yeah, Arizona's the top contender for."
Even as a Cardinal fan, in my head, I was like, man, you should go to the Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins there, and DeAndre Hopkins tweeted out like, "Oh, let's finish what we started." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna go there." But then part of me was just like, probably not. There are
Now, how would
better
you feel if you guys
locations for him
traded
to go.
Kyler for Deshaun? Get the whole crew back together.
I was, I mean, it's one of those trades. It's like trading DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, yeah,
It's gonna,
it is. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
you know what I mean? It's
Like
like
if that
they're gonna
opportunity
be
presented
better.
itself,
If
you
they got
take it.
Deshaun Watson, they would be Super Bowl. Like
Yeah,
they'd be in the Super Bowl. But with like Kyler Murray, it's just like, oh, I like Kyler Murray more. But like I understand Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback. But at the end of the day, too, Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback because not necessarily because, but one of the reasons is he has more experience. He has those
yeah.
extra like year or two in the league. right? Kyler Murray has the ability to be as good as Deshaun Watson, but
Oh, for sure. For sure. But with Deshaun, you know what you're getting. Like, he's an absolute fucking stud and playmaker out there.
Absolutely. So I don't know. All things considered, JJ Watt, I'm happy for the signing.
Yeah.
Good for him. He got some bank. I think it's going to work out great for the Cardinals.
Yeah. So
They're about a piece or two away from being a Super Bowl contender, man. Like a serious
yeah.
Super Bowl, not just
Yeah.
one where it's like, hey, they could win. It's like, okay, they're gonna win.
Well, yeah, I said that. I said that earlier. Like, he's he definitely makes them a better team, but they're still not quite a Super Bowl contender.
Mhm.
I think probably get someone in the draft, offensive line, depending what you're picking or who's available. But you need to get another offensive lineman and definitely a DB out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, with like free season this year, there's definitely opportunity out there to, get those last remaining pieces. And honestly, like the front office isn't stupid. Like they understand where their needs are. So
Yeah.
see if it happens.
Well, I mean,
Fingers are
the,
crossed, bro.
the thing that surprised me most though was that JJ Watt is now the 9th highest paid D end, and I just kind of feel like it was a little bit of an overpayment, but I mean, he was probably getting competing offers to that. Maybe it's just because I was expecting him to take less, and I haven't.
And the thing with JJ Watt though is you're not necessarily paying for his on field. You're paying for his off field experience as well too.
Yeah, I mean, you pay for both, but yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like he's that veteran that they need in their locker room because like they do
Yeah.
have a relatively young team.
Yeah.
Besides Fitzgerald on the offensive side, they'd have a young team. Buda
Yeah.
Baker's young. I mean, granted, Patrick Peterson is, but like, I don't know if he's going to be around next year or not. Like, if I was a
Yeah.
betting man, I would say probably not, unless,
Unless he takes a pay cut.
yeah. And it's like in my situation, like, I understand he's very loyal to the Cardinals. He's always said he wants to be there. So I don't necessarily see him taking a pay cut. But at the end of the day, too, it's like, what's the difference between like a $3 million contract with them or like a $12 million contract with a team that really needs a DB?
Well, see, that's my thing though. Is you never. I feel like DB is a player too, where there's a lot of time where they're very confident in themselves, and a lot of them are like they know if they know they can get more money elsewhere, they will. I don't know what Patrick Peterson's like at all. Like, so who the fuck knows? But off the Cardinals, we've been on these guys for forever.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, does he deserve to be the second highest paid quarterback in the league or no?
So no.
Jerry Jones' hands don't get cramped while he's writing checks,
He is not worth it. Even if he didn't injure his ankle, he wouldn't be worth it. Because like when you look at Patrick Mahomes, like he's wanting the second most out of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got that contract after an MVP season.
No.
MVP type season. Sorry. Throw the Lamar Jackson. Fuck. Like,
don't steal my boy's accolades.
He won his Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, like, has he even won a playoff game?
I don't think so.
And I understand
I don't know if
football's
he's
that game where it's like it's all the pieces come together. It's not just the one person that makes it. Granted, one person can make the difference, but I don't know, man. Even if I was Dallas, I wouldn't be signing that over to Dak Prescott. Like it sucks, but like
in my opinion, obviously Jerry Jones isn't sold on him. Otherwise, he would have signed him 2 years ago, and he would have got him for way cheaper than what he's asking for. Like Dak Prescott's price has just gone up and up every year for like you see reported, and because he keeps playing well. But my thing is like even this last year when he was having an outstanding, like he was leading the league in passing yards, I'm pretty sure for a while, even after he was hurt. But they still weren't winning.
Nope.
Like I don't care what kind of numbers you're putting up. If you're not winning, what's the point of paying you? Like they have a stud offense. Their defense, not great. But
I was gonna say it's their defense though. Their defense.
But you got Amari Cooper out there. Ezekiel Elliott's been just downhill since he signed his contract. Who's the other receiver? CeeDee Lamb's fucking a stud too. Their offensive line obviously isn't what it used to be, but to pay a guy that much on a team when you already have him and you're not winning, I don't see how you can do that.
But so you think they should pay him or
no? If he was winning, yeah. If he's winning, sure, give him a shit ton of money.
And
but you're not winning.
I think their biggest thing is they have like some anxiety probably from signing Ezekiel Elliott and then just seeing
Yeah.
him go downhill. Where they're
Well,
just
same
like,
thing.
well,
I think
why do we invest more money into this team if we don't see a future with it?
like I'm pretty sure Zeke and Amari Cooper both got like record deals when they signed their contracts.
Mm-hmm. Granted, I can forgive Amari Cooper because he had Andy Dalton throwing in the ball last year.
I
But
mean,
like
hey, Andy Dalton's a
he
stud.
still
Okay.
did good though. But I think with Dallas though, they should put their money somewhere else because like their defense is just
I mean, I don't think
terrible.
they have any money to spend anymore.
I don't think so either. They've Dallas is not in a good situation right now, and
Yeah, they're but like
I don't
that's
know, man.
the thing too
I
is like
just don't feel good about that whole situation, Dallas. Like
there's
it's never been
yeah
something where I'm like they're gonna be good this year. It's always like maybe
like
I don't know.
there's no quarterback out there though that they can go get right now that I think would make them better anyways.
Well, what if you trade Dak Prescott for Deshaun Watson or like Russell Wilson or
Houston's
somebody?
not answering calls on Deshaun, supposedly.
Yeah, we've talked about Deshaun too much on this show.
Yeah, Deshaun's been talking about too much. But back to like Dak wanting to be the second highest paid, I could see him being top 5 highest paid.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Because like right now, as of next year, it's Mahomes, Watson, Wilson, Roethlisberger, Goff. I'd pay him more than Goff and Roethlisberger in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Wilson, he's won a Super Bowl, so no. But then like you have Aaron Rodgers at 6, who I wouldn't pay him more than, but Rodgers is on kind of a good deal. But other than that, I'd pay him more than every other quarterback,
Mhm.
especially because he's young and you know he's a stud.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm not paying him more than Deshaun Watson. Close. I'm not paying him close to Patrick Mahomes
mm-mm.
money, and he hasn't brought me anything in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
See, and like what I would do maybe if I was Dallas, I would sign him to like I wouldn't sign him to a 10-year deal worth that much money compared to like
No,
Patrick Mahomes. I would sign him to
apparently,
like a 5-year, 4-year deal, maybe in like the ballpark of what he's getting, but I would never do long term
okay,
like
but
Patrick Mahomes though.
apparently that's what their problem was last offseason. I don't remember. I think Jerry wanted to sign him to 5, but he only wanted 4. Apparently, that was their biggest disagreement on a contract extension.
What?
I don't remember who wanted, but I think because Dak wanted to be a free agent again sooner, I think, or he want or he wanted the extra year and more money. I don't remember which way it went, but apparently that was their biggest disagreement last offseason.
They just franchise tagged him, right?
I imagine he's gonna get franchise tagged again, especially coming off an injury.
Yeah. And I think what they might do is I think this would be the smart decision is well, franchise tag you for one more year, but like have it written in the contract if you can do it. If you perform this good, if you hit these numbers, if you play 14 out of 16 games, if you do this and this and this, we'll agree to this 8-year whatever amount
You
money or
can't
whatever.
write that in a contract.
No, I don't think
But I
you can. Like,
mean,
it would have to be like a handshake deal. But
but also I think there's a max amount of times you get franchise tagged in a row. I think it's 3. I heard somewhere. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But also, I think every year you get franchise tagged, the money goes up and up.
yeah.
So in order to franchise tag him again next year, I think it'd be way too much money anyways that it wouldn't be worth it.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. The
They
Dallas is
need
in
to
a
figure that out because
yeah, Dallas in a terrible situation. Like Elliott's doing
awful.
nothing, man. Like
He's fumbling all over the
yeah, I
place.
would say the 2 games I watched, he fumbled like 5 times in total. Like, it
Yeah,
was
it was a
terrible. It was
issue
not
for him
good.
last year.
Okay, I have a question for you. What does Pittsburgh do? They get rid of Big Ben?
No, they will never get rid of Big Ben, dude.
You
Guy's
don't think
like
so?
best friends with the owner, I think.
I heard rumors that they might be they're definitely going to be asking him to take a huge pay cut though. That's
Oh,
what
they're
I heard.
definitely gonna. Well, because
Like, does he come
orig-
back just as a backup, or is he only playing
no,
if he's a
if he
starter?
comes back, he's coming to start. If not, he's gonna retire. But I mean, they don't have a better option right now. Look, he led you to 11-0 season, but you can
They're
only win
they're
so
the
much.
easiest schedule ever though. They had nobody.
Yeah,
They played
yeah, I
nobody.
know. But still, but then also at the same time, you can't be asking Big Ben at his age and how much wear and tear he's had on his body to be throwing 40 times a game every single game. You needed some sort of run game.
Yeah.
Just some sort of a run game, man.
But their pass game was so good last year. Well, not
Doesn't
so
matter.
good,
When
but
you
like
have
he
Big
had
Ben
so many.
throwing 50 times a game and you rush it 6 times a game,
Mhm.
they said like, oh, their short pass game is like kind of like the run game. That's you're still throwing the ball, man. That's You gotta have some sort of run game.
Yeah, you just drop everybody back in coverage and you cover it, right? And then
Like,
just get some pressure on and
like
you're good
you
to
see
go.
it every year in the playoff. Run game, you need it in the playoffs.
You have to have it.
Tampa Bay started doing good when they were running the ball. Kansas City had good drives when they ran the ball, but they stopped running the ball. They just threw it all day, and it didn't fucking work for them. They couldn't get a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, when you're Kansas City and you're just behind,
I know, but at
that
one point
their O
they
line
weren't.
was so weak, though they couldn't run.
I know.
I guess
But they
no,
were
Super
having
Bowl
success
they were
running it.
having to. Yeah, they were actually. Now you mention it.
I feel like too. Obviously, I have no experience, but I feel like if you weaker offensive lineman, it's better like running or having them run block. I feel like it's more confidence because they're going downhill and attacking the DN and like going to the linebacker as opposed to pass block where you're just kind of standing there trying to stop someone.
Never played offensive lineman. All I know is we would just talk so much shit about our O line. How can you not stay in front of somebody? What the fuck?
Well, that's because they were ass, and we didn't have any offensive linemen over 250 pounds. I don't think, which is a big issue.
That's true. Fuck.
But then a quarterback wouldn't be able to see over them if we had a bigger offensive line. So there's that too.
Oh, you're talking about Nally right now?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking.
I was talking about Wildcats.
Offensive line is always a position that you need fucking.
That's why Saskatoon is so good, man. They just fucking farm boys, bro. They just fucking
big old Sask farm boys.
Jesus Christ. Switching it up to NBA. I think that's enough NFL talk for today.
NBA. What's so? How come the Jazz suck now? What's going on here? Back-to-back losses?
No, they just had 2 bad games, man. They pumped. Fuck, who did they win? Jesus, wow, I am brain dead today.
Just today?
Oh my god, extra brain dead.
What do you mean? So the first loss,
Miami.
Second time I've bet on the Jazz in their stretch. Second loss, betting on the Jazz. You know how fucking pissed I was. And then the game after, I bet on the over, which I hit. But I was watching the last game against the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the Pelicans were looking good and hitting shots. The Pelicans look like a good fucking team sometimes, but the record is not great.
See, the difference is they have like one of the best offenses in the league. I know they're top 5 for sure in the league. They might be 1 or 2 actually.
I know they're number 1 team for the hitting overs and betting.
Yeah,
I've been hitting that.
Yeah. The Pelicans are a very like because it's not even the Jazz played bad. The Jazz still put up 124 points against them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it was just one of those games where, granted, it was a grind 'em out game. The Jazz were just behind the whole time, but it was just one of those games where just the other team was just hitting more shots than them.
That's the thing is like when they start hitting shots, when JJ Redick's feeling himself back there hitting shots, they're a great team. But I think the thing is like at the core group of people, they're just such a young team, so they just need more time to develop that consistency.
I remember going into the season, I thought the Pelicans were going to be like they were going to be a threat. I thought, they were going to be a threat. I looked at the roster, I was like, but then again, too, it's that experience. It's like because like Brandon Ingram, at one point he was 8 for 12 from the field.
Yeah, he's a stud too.
No matter who you're playing, if their best player is 8 from 12 for the field, they're at least going to be in the game and within striking distance, right?
What do you mean? He's not going to replicate that night after night.
No, God, no, he's not, right? And that's the thing. Zion Williamson was just bullying people. He was bullying Gobert in the paint.
Zion Williamson bullies men.
He's 20 years old, man.
So, you see this thing? I gotta find it. People were doing. I've seen a couple of them. People were doing lists of the top 5 players they'd want to start a franchise with.
Ooh.
And I think it was just all players. I seen so many different ones though. Like I seen people said Doncic, some people said Embiid, some people left both of them all. Like some people didn't have either of them. This one I seen had Doncic, Williamson, Tatum, Jokic, and Giannis at number 5. Mine, I said Giannis 1, Doncic 2, Tatum 3, Jokic 4, and Embiid 5. Even though I hate Embiid.
I would do.
Embiid's popping this year. Jokic apparently is MVP caliber.
Yeah, he is.
Every time I don't watch a lot of Nuggets game, and every time I watch him play against the Raptors, he gets shut down. It doesn't matter. He barely gets 10 points sometimes. So it does make sense how you can't be good against the Raptors, especially when they don't have anyone to match up with them. But that's why I can't rank him number one or even close because like whenever I watch him play, he never dominates.
That's fair. The way I would rank that, Luka Doncic number one. Like that dude is 21 years old and he's MVP caliber already. It's unfortunate that I thought Dallas is gonna be a lot better than they are this year. It's just the pieces that they have right now aren't necessarily matching or meshing right now. It's like it's a weird situation in Dallas too. Similar to like the Cowboys, where it's like they have good pieces, but it's just not all there right now.
Yeah, so I was thinking the other day, like, at what point does Luca leave Dallas to start a super team?
Hmm.
Because unless he just wants to be a career Maverick, but also I could see Mark Cuban trying to start the super team in Dallas, like
Yeah.
trying to get someone to come with Luke Doncic. Because I feel like Mark Cuban's that kind of guy where he'd spend the money because he's got the
Mhm.
money. But I still think Giannis is if you start a super team with Giannis over Doncic, I think the super team with Giannis would be better.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that. Luca is like a LeBron James where he makes the players around him better. Obviously with like the D Wade and Chris Bosh situation, they had to kind of step back because LeBron was there though. But it's the other players. It's the not Mac Miller.
Wow.
What's the Miller shooter from Miami?
What?
Anyways, the Miller, I forget his name. Um, Ray Allen, Mario Chalmers. It's those accessory players that he makes better, and that's what Luca does. Luca makes those accessory players and players around him better.
Yeah, but Giannis made Middleton an All Star.
But did he though, or did Middleton
Yes.
just have the ability to create a
No.
shot? And he had a good year. Like Middleton's still putting up 20 points a game, 22 points a game. It's just his
I
game's
don't even
kind
know
of
who he's
retreated.
playing with this year.
I don't agree with the statement that Giannis makes people around. Like, obviously, he does, but not to the
He
extent that Luka Doncic
he
does.
does, but
Luka Doncic is a ball
no,
maker,
he
is a
is 50 bucks
playmaker.
still. Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Giannis just
Luca's got the
dominates.
ball. Okay, but so my thing is, if you have Steph Curry and Giannis on a team, how like that's insane. You have the ultimate 3-point shooter and the ultimate down low threat. Like you're gonna exploit one matchup of the other against any team.
See, and but my thing is though, when Giannis has the ball, his main threat is his ability to score.
Okay,
He
so if you
doesn't
have
pass the ball as well. Luka
so if
Doncic
you
has
have
the ability to
Curry
score
having the
just as good as
ball,
Giannis, and he has a better ability at passing it.
yeah, okay, so if Giannis is playing with Curry, if you don't stay up on Curry, he's just gonna hit a three from nowhere. And then if you try and help, you just feed it to Giannis, and Giannis is gonna exploit one-on-ones all day, every day.
No, I think that's fair too. But then, same time, it's like, well, if you were to put Luka with Steph Curry, that wouldn't work because they're
Yeah, no, yeah,
like
it
that
would.
doesn't work, right?
You have to put Luca with
Mhm.
AD, I guess that would
Yeah,
be a comparable.
yeah. You'd have to find the players that fit their position. Like I think if you were to do,
Well,
like,
what about Luca AD? Like I feel like that's a fair
well,
comparison
even
to.
like Luka, Porzingis, and then if you were
What
just to
don't they
have like
already
a
have that?
slasher, like an all-star slasher, like a Donovan Mitchell almost, that would be good.
They
Right?
need like a pure shoot. They need a 3-and-D guy on their team.
Yeah, they need a few pieces on their team. Like they just got rid of Seth Curry though. No, Seth. Where was Seth Curry? He was with Philly.
He's a Philly.
Apparently got released though or traded.
I don't think so. Because there's some stat that when they had their full starting lineup, they're like 8-0 half into the season, but at the same time, it's like, how the fuck is your starting roster only played that many games together?
For Dallas?
Yeah, no, for the 76ers. They're all a
Oh,
bunch of
oh
they're
yeah,
always
he is
fucking
with the
injured.
76ers. Well, that's like the go back to the Jazz. That's the big reason the Jazz have been so dominant. They've been healthy this year. Mike Conley's the only one who's had to sit out maybe like 4 or 5 games, 6 games.
Yeah.
But they've been
They've just
dominant.
they were clicking. The thing is though is I feel very much so like they were clicking at the wrong time. Like teams will get hot like the Jazz did during the season and go on a long stretch. Then they'll kind of like balance out. Like so, obviously you're gonna lose games. You're gonna balance out. You need to get hot like when the Heat did right at the end of the season, or I guess it helped that you're in the bubble, but right that's when you got to get hot and then go on a streak in the playoffs.
I don't know.
In a 7-game series, I still don't see him beating the Lakers.
Well, I do myself now. The thing with, and I've noticed it now with LeBron's not necessarily putting in those minutes, or not minutes, but like those stat lines that he was doing
Well,
with, like originally on 80 out. Because I think when he's like, what's the point of putting all this effort into it and deteriorating my body just to maybe win this game? We're in the playoffs already. Let me just chill back and
well, especially because like AD and Schroeder were both out. I think there was a stat where they were like 6-0 when Dennis Schroeder was in.
Yeah.
And so like he was the only, and his minutes shot through the roof once AD went down. And so like obviously he's tired, he's playing more, so he's not gonna put the same stat line. And then plus he's missing 2 players who are getting him lots of points and lots of assists, right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. But I saw somewhere though that the AD injury, if depending on what type of Achilles injury it is, because like for right now it's a week by week basis. But I was listening to this physiotherapist, and like, granted, I don't know how true this is because it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like, he was saying though that if it is, essentially what he's saying is there's an outer membrane and there's the inner part of it. He said if it's the outside part, it's not necessarily a biggest issue. It's fine. But if it's the inside part, it's and rehab isn't working on it, it might get worse to the point where it does require surgery, and it might be 8 months out then.
No, so when this first happened, probably 3 podcasts ago, maybe 2, I said this is going to be a bigger issue than they're making it out to be. He's not coming back when they originally said he's coming back, and he already hasn't. It's already been pushed back to after the All-Star game.
Damn, Tyler, look at you go.
Dude, whenever you hear Achilles injury, it's never good. It doesn't matter, especially because they said it was similar to something he had before, like it re-aggravated something.
Ooh.
So, in my mind, that already means that's like I would have never been surprised if he's out for the season. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Mm-hmm.
If after the All-Star game it gets pushed back again, the one after that I'm expecting he's done for the year, getting surgery.
Well, I think they might do like what KD did then. Like how they brought him back when he was like absolutely needed, and then if he tore it, he tore it. It was gonna require surgery anyways. Maybe like a situation like that.
Is that what they did with AD? They're like, it's you're gonna have to get surgery regardless.
With KD?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it was
he just thought he was okay to play.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where it's like, well, you could be good, but if you re-aggravate it, it's like it's gonna fully tear.
But that's what I mean. So if I'm AD, there's no way in hell I'm taking that chance.
But at the same time, too, though, it's how many more years? I mean, Grant is
now
like
you want a chip.
Like how many more years?
Now you want James? No. You already want a chip. Now you want to be healthy to win another one.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you take this year off then?
It depends on what the doctor's saying. If surgery is an option, if I'm him, I'm getting surgery. No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, he's still young enough where he can make another run.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you look at like Kevin Durant. Like Kevin Durant's come back from his injury, Achilles injury. Like it's now become like the norm to be able to come back from these crazy injuries and be fine.
With the technology there is nowadays, you can come back for anything.
It's ridiculous, man.
Alex Smith is a perfect example from that.
I was gonna say we can go down.
No, NBA talk.
We're done with NFL talk. Okay, so let's do this. Who is your finals prediction then?
Whoa! You don't want to go through the All-Stars?
Oh, sure, let's do it.
Okay, so I still classify Devin Booker as being left off the All-Star list because he's a replacement.
Me too.
Not a true All-Star. But I think Trae Young's the biggest snub by far.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what he's averaging. It's unfortunate he was taken off, man, because he was an all-star last year. Like, it's so weird for such a young person who
I think
didn't even like resend. But
I mean, it's
their record though. It's their record.
It is their record, and the fact that like they're not a massive franchise. He's averaging 26.5 game and 9.5 assists. He's half assists away from averaging a double-double, which he's the closest to averaging a double-double, like other than people that are, I think, like Harden. But I mean, like, I just think he's better than some of the people on the list.
Yeah.
Like I think he even actually deserved it more than Devin Booker. But when LeBron James comes out and says Devin Booker is the biggest or most overlooked person in the league, or whatever, obviously Devin Booker is going to be the first All-Star team replacement. There's no question about it.
Yeah, he should have been on there before Chris Paul even.
Yeah. Is Chris Paul an All-Star?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So I think what the stupidest All-Star is this year, though. Granted, he is having a good season, though. But like all things considered, though, it's like when you're the only good player on your team, you're kind of gonna have to be half decent. Nikola Vucevic,
Vucevic? Yeah, he's
good player, but like I don't know, he's averaging 24,
no
11.
way. Chris Paul's an All-Star this year.
He is.
You're lying. He is. So he's averaging 10 less points than, or almost about 10 points less than Trae Young, half an assist, and I think he has averages one more rebound a game. There's no way you can tell me that Chris Paul deserves to be there more. But when you look at the starters for the All-Star team, stats are irrelevant. Obviously, they're all they're all stars that everyone knows.
Well, and see, that's the thing. It's the fans vote the starters, right? So then you had that
Like
one year
Paul
when
George, Rudy
Caruso was
Gobert,
like when
Lillard,
Caruso was
Mitchell.
supposed to be an all-star, and then he came out and was like, "Hey, don't vote for me. I'm not an all-star."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how Vucevic got voted as a starter.
Mm-mm. Is he a starter?
Yeah. No, he's a reserve. I lied.
Oh, that's. I don't understand how he's even on the all-star. I saw that and I was like, "Okay." Granted, I understand there's like a discrepancy between point guards and forwards in today's league,
Yeah.
but like at the end of the day, though, he doesn't deserve. Right? Like I'm happy Bradley Beal's finally.
I mean, that guy's having the
Ridiculous.
fucking year.
Ridiculous, man. But
But
it's
I
like
mean,
I
so
don't know.
like, okay, Kevin Durant, obvious, he's captain. Bradley Beal, obvious. Embiid, yes, he's having a fantastic year. Giannis, he's always going to be there. Kyrie, I don't know what his stats are really, but it makes sense that he's there just because he the name.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jalen Brown's having a good year. Harden, Levine's having a good year. Randall's having a good year. Sabonis is an injury replacement. I'm pretty sure he's actually having a really good year too.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons, I don't know, and Vucevic.
Is Ben
I don't.
Simmons an all-star?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Real? No.
Let me go look at his stats.
16, 8, and 7.
That's what he's averaging.
Yeah. I think Ben Simmons in about 2 years.
What do
Also,
they classify
highly
him as though?
confident
They classify him as a guard or a forward.
guard forward. I think he's like a
I know,
small forward. But
but
I'm
for
gonna
the
say
All
right
Star
here
game,
though, in 2 or 3 years though, Ben Simmons won't even be an all-star.
no, I don't think so either.
That jump shot is it. You can't fix it, bro. You
Well,
can't fix it at this
I
point.
think that's why he's now classified as a guard forward because he's not a. You can't be a guard when you can't shoot the ball.
Yeah, no, he's. I don't know. He's not a. He's not going to be a center. I thought he was always hyped. I don't like Ben Simmons, and it's just kind of showing. He's like a Russell Westbrook almost, where it's just a lot of hype around nothing.
Yeah, see, Sabonis is averaging 21, 5, and 11, or 6 and 11. So he, that's like, I like seeing people like that and like Julius Randle, like who don't really get recognized making All Stars because I'm assuming it's like NFL where like you get bonuses for being All Star selections and stuff. And
See,
it's like,
my thing with Vucevic is it's like I understand. Like he looked like Bradley Beal last year when he was held off the All Star. People
yeah,
he's held off because his team's terrible. So like, okay, it makes sense. But then the day he's balling. But it's like with Vucevic, he's having a good season, but his team is second last in the East. Granted, like what 4 games out of 8th spot though. But like, I don't know, man. I saw that name come up and I was like, there are better people out there. But at the end
I
of the
also
day, there are
find
better
he's
people
not.
in the West though than there are in the East.
Yeah, I feel just also he's not one of those people who are consistently putting up numbers. Like I don't watch him that much. Like he's got more than Sabonis, so there's that. He's 20,
Yeah.
24, 11, but he doesn't get assists. But
Hey,
again, there's no one to score on his team.
at the end of the day, good for him. He's an all-star. He's earned it because he's probably put in the hours in the gym though. But they got to do something though, where because like just when the East was kind of rebalancing with the West, this year's just kibosh that all. Like the East is just terrible now. Yeah, Like the Raptors aren't as dominant as they used to be.
They picked it up,
Philadelphia's falling off.
but yeah,
Milwaukee's falling off. Boston's falling off. Miami Heat, who's in the playoffs finals last year, falling off. Like they're not as dominant as they were. Or I guess better way to put it, they weren't as hot as they were last year.
yeah.
There's just not. I mean, granted, it's a close division. You lose two,
No,
you
it's
go from
like
third to
anyone
the
can make the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting come playoffs team, but like I don't. And honestly, playoffs might actually be pretty good. Might be very like competitive playoffs over there, but
Oh, for
they don't stand
sure.
a chance to the West though.
Like,
Although
I,
at the end of the day, it's all they need is their best team out there to beat the best team in the West, and that is possible. Brooklyn has the ability to do it.
so I don't know. When you look at the East, though, like the 76ers were looking like a team, kind of, if they can stay healthy. But at the same time, it's only for NBA, so maybe it's not a good thing to go by. But I'm a very strong believer in the NBA. You should not be losing to shit teams when you're not even a proven team. Like the 76ers, like there's no way they should be going to overtime with the Cavs. Never mind losing to the Cavs.
Yeah,
Especially when you their only player they were missing was Al Horford.
I mean, I think, yeah, it's not like hockey when it's like 3 bounces can dictate it, or like football. Football is more of like it does come down to like 6 plays in the game though, but like
Football is
speaking,
like at the same time Kansas City is never losing to Jacksonville. It's not happening. Just like the 76ers should be never losing to the Cavaliers. Unless you're missing half your team because of COVID or injuries. That's your only excuse.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. But basketball is just that one where there's a lot more variables that can go wrong, and then on the other side can go right.
But I
at the
feel
end
like
of the day, though, it's a. I know what you mean though. Like you shouldn't lose that game, but
I feel like basketball is the sport where, for the majority of the time, the top tier teams, like the championship tier teams, never lose to the bottom 5 teams of the league. Never. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You never seen the Golden State Warriors going out losing to shit teams when they're 73-win seasons.
But at the end of the day, too, it's like when you look at those really good teams, though. I think it was even with the 73, the Warriors that went 73-9.
Yeah.
Some of their games came against like really shitty teams because I think they go into the game underestimating them and be like, oh fuck, and then the other team is just like, oh, we're gonna do this instead. It's just like,
but I also feel like the Golden State Warriors were a team then that could do that because they're that much better. But the 76ers are not that team. They're not throwing up 33s and hitting 28 of them in a game.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, basketball is that one game where it's just, and I understand those big teams should not lose to those shitty teams. But basketball is that sport where it's just like some days it's just not your night.
I guess
it's like in hockey where it's just like 2 shitty goals happen. You're just like, all right, well, our next game is in 2 days.
I mean, hockey is the most like any team can win in any night sport. Like the worst team in the league can beat the best team at any point in time.
Yeah.
Which there's no other sport like that, which is why I like it usually.
Completely agree.
But then so 76ers first. The Nets pretty much tie with them for first. There's no way they lose. Bucks are fucking I don't see them winning playoffs. Only one playoff series.
I don't see them beating Philadelphia. Milwaukee would be a good series. I do not see them beating Brooklyn. I mean, I guess this could lead to our next conversation though, but like who the finals prediction. I myself on the East, I have Brooklyn coming out. Like I don't see any other team beating them. There's too much, especially come playoffs. Like they're going to walk through the playoffs pretty easy.
I thought the Celtics before this year started, I thought the Celtics were going to be a team. They've won 3 in a row now, so they're back above 500 in the playoffs. But the fact that they dropped out of the playoffs at any point in time and were below 500, 34 games into the season, that's not acceptable, man. When you're expected to be a top 3 team, there's no way that should be happening. Especially like the Knicks having a great year finally in playoffs. Happy for them. Heat are back, and the Hornets are looking fucking good. LaMelo is a fucking stud. That guy's rookie of the year without a doubt.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, he's good.
He is the best second or third option I think you can get, besides like if James Harden's your third option.
Did we not? Yeah. But did we not say that Gordon Hayward is a great?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure we both said he's a great player to have as a second or third option. He's not a number one
Well,
anymore.
look at Boston. Look how bad Boston's doing. And all things considered, yeah, they lost. I guess no, they lost Al Horford a while ago though. But like their biggest loss this offseason was Gordon Hayward.
And it's not like he played all the games. Like
But
Tatum looks so dominant in playoffs.
he
I
gives you that
expected him.
extra bit that makes you win. You go from losing by 10 to winning by 5, and he's that extra bit though.
Yeah. Well, especially because he's that consistently coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what he's gonna give you. Like,
Yeah.
but with how Tatum was dominating last playoffs, I thought he was gonna do that this season, and clearly he hasn't. Like Jaylen Brown's been playing better. He got named All Star. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're not winning. Everyone was on Brad Stevens' dick 2-3 years ago, saying how he's the best coach in the NBA, and now you have this team who's supposed to be competing in playoffs below 500 out of the playoffs at one point in time.
Yeah. I honestly thought that Brad Stevens was like an overhyped coach. I was always like, man, it's like because I looked at their rosters
It's like
and I'll look
you
at the
should be
Jazz
winning.
rosters, for instance, because I think Quinn Snyder is the most underrated coach in NBA, and I've known this for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I look at Brad Stevens, who's getting all this praise,
It's like
and
he
then
has a
like
solid team.
yeah, like they
You
have
should
a
be winning with this
good
team.
team. Like they had
But
Kyrie Irving, they had Gordon Hayward, they had Jaylen Brown, they had Marcus Smart, they had Al Horford, they had all these pieces together, and it's just Jason
like
Tatum even there for that 1 year too.
they
And
probably had a
like
better starting bench than some team starting rosters.
yeah, they had such a good roster, and they were just like I was always looking, I'm like they should be so much better than they actually are. And I'd look at players like the Jazz, like 2 years ago, where I was like, oh, you know, they're a playoff team, whatever, and they were like doing better than I anticipated. I was like, why is Brad Stevens getting all this hype when he's underperforming as a team?
But that's
Like that Boston Celtics team should have beat the Raptors. They should have beat the 76ers. Like they should have gone to the
there's
finals.
no way they should have lost the Heat last year. No fucking way in hell. That should not happen.
Especially how bad they lost to the Heat.
Like I know Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, they're having the playoffs of their lives. They're playing the best month of basketball they've ever played.
Yeah.
You're a way better team than them. You need like LeBron showed you what you should have done to them.
Mm.
If you want to compete with the big boys, you can't be losing to the Heat like that in the playoffs.
Agreed. I don't.
The only team that I could see giving
Brooklyn.
the Nets problems. The top 5 right now are the only ones who have a real shot. The Raptors not really. Like they're slowly going to be rebuilding.
Yeah.
They're never going to be a bottom team, but they need to get rid of Lowry, start rebuilding around Van Vliet, Powell, and Siakam. Celtics, if they can figure their shit out, but I don't think they have the firepower to keep up. I don't think anyone has the firepower to keep up with the Nets.
See, my only thing about the Celtics, why I think they're the best matchup for Brooklyn, is granted Boston has been pretty like they've been hit hard with injuries. Like Tatum's had COVID, Kemba Walker's been on and off this year. But the thing is though, is Boston doesn't have a big man. So I think they match up nicely with Brooklyn is because they have that perimeter style of play.
Yeah. Well, and then you got KD and Tatum and down low, right?
Yeah, at least like because man, against Embiid just gonna eat Boston alive during the playoffs. Embiid just could go in there and post up and dunk on.
Yeah, but he could do that against the Nets too.
But DeAndre Jordan's just maybe good enough to at least slow him down enough.
I mean, he'll slow you down enough that like he's not gonna win the. Well, I mean, he will win.
Who are we talking about? He can put up 50 a game. They just need to. It's not necessarily has to stop Embiid. Philadelphia has to stop Durant, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant.
No, I was gonna say like Embiid could win him a game or two, but DeAndre Jordan is good enough that he won't win you 4 games.
He'll
especially when you add Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. Like it's just not fair.
I mean, granted, you can put Ben Simmons on KD. That'll put KD maybe to 25 to 30 points a game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like Seth Curry, is he gonna shut down Kyrie Irving?
No.
I don't think so. Kyrie still do his thing. And at the end of the day, even if he does shut down Kyrie, who's gonna guard James Harden?
Yeah. Like
Harris is not gonna be able to shut down him.
Yeah, Joe. And let's say if you somehow manage to hold him, Joe Harris could pop off for a night.
Literally, man. So I don't know. I see out of the East, Brooklyn is like my Sherlock. If I had to put money on it right now, I would say
I'd put my
Brooklyn's
house
coming
on it
out,
if I had a fucking house.
bearing injuries. If there are injuries involved, then
Yeah, well,
different
that
story.
obviously changes. But like Milwaukee, I just don't. They don't have the firepower. I don't. Their rebuilt team this year is. I think I said it before. I think they got worse. It
I
shows in their record.
I completely agree with you. They've got way worse. Way
I
worse.
don't. I don't know,
They do
man.
not
I don't
look
know
good.
what they're thinking.
Okay, let's shift over to the West. I think the
Okay.
West is a bit more of a better conversation. Obviously, I think there are three teams that are like very serious contenders. I would say maybe like two other contenders that might be able to pull off an upset if they have a good series.
Yeah.
But like I would say the three best teams, both LA teams, Utah. The next best, I would put Portland above San Antonio right now, even though San Antonio does have a better record. Portland
Yeah.
has a little bit more
But
firepower. They just
that's the
started
thing
slow.
is, we're kind of basing that off of their star power, like gives you like, oh, they got Dame, CJ, Melo, but like the
Melo's
Spurs have DeMar, Aldridge, and who? Like,
they have
man,
Popovich.
did you see the clip? The Spurs Nets game yesterday?
No,
Fucking wild. The
I wish
Spurs
I
went
saw
on
it.
a 10-0 run to end the game, and they hit a fucking shot with time running out. It was fucking wild. And then the Nets smacked them in overtime. But it was fucking an insane 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I had Brooklyn -4. I just watched the lead go down and down and down and down. But then when they hit that clutch shot to send overtime, I was hyped because then they smacked them in overtime.
Yeah, because
So they
then you
covered
can
my
get the over then.
-4. Yeah.
Um, okay, well,
But
how?
Spurs aren't beating anyone in a 4-game series.
No, I don't think so either. I think even the record that they have right now, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. They're
I
they're
didn't
playing
realize they were
really
doing
good
that good.
basketball right now. Um,
Poor Golden State, if they had Clay Thompson,
they could be
that
dirty. They
man.
they might be a good team next year, actually.
Well, yeah, like everyone. I said that this year before Clay got hurt that there'd be
Mm,
was you, when you got Steph and Clay shooting, and then you got Andrew Wiggins as the third option. I think that's best case scenario for Wiggins. He could
Well,
shine a little bit there, and Draymond Green just shutting you down defense, getting 20 rebounds and 5 points a game. That's all you need.
well, and then you have Wiseman as well too.
Yeah,
Like he's a good rookie as well too,
he
man.
is
Come
good.
on. So I don't know. I
I mean,
think
he'll just be better next year,
yeah,
but they're not Nuggets. I don't see him doing anything this year.
yeah. Nuggets are weird. I thought they were gonna be like the team, like up there with LA. Granted, I know they did start pretty slow, but
Yeah, like
I don't know. They're 6-4. I don't. They're missing one piece. They're missing somebody, and I
they
don't know
need that
what.
third player. Like you got Jokic and Murray. Porter's your third best points per game average at 17. And
Yeah,
if Michael Porter's your third best player, that's not good for you. That's not good. I'm sorry.
and I think maybe what Denver is though. Denver's built for the playoffs though, so they're kind of a deceiving team.
Are they though?
I think
They
they
only
are.
went off because Jamal Murray wasn't missing shots, man.
That's
And then
true,
Jokic was popping.
but that's the thing though. It's like come playoffs, that's when these players turn up the extra gear. Like if you know you're going to be a playoff team, you're not going to go 100% every night.
Uh,
You're gonna
the
save
Nuggets
everything
don't
for the
know
playoffs.
that though. The
They
only
know,
teams
bro.
that can do that are the Clippers, Lakers. Now the Jazz weren't doing that. That's why they went on that run. Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, Nets.
Wow. So
Those are the
the thing is,
only
though,
teams.
it's like playoff basketball is so much more different than regular
Oh,
season,
100%.
right? And it's the reason that the Spurs won so many series because they know how to play playoff basketball. Because like the whole style of play changes. Like the during the regular season, it's just running gun. You're just going out there. You're putting up 103 points a game. Come playoffs, though, it's like a
Bro,
grind. Like you're
you're
gonna
not having
grind out
130,
110
140
points.
games in the playoffs. It's not a fucking thing.
What's that?
You're not having 130, 140 playoff game. That doesn't happen.
Right. And I
Because you're
think that
trying every defense. Like LeBron James are probably trying in, I don't know, in like a game against the Thunder. LeBron James is putting about 40% effort in on defense that game.
probably come playoffs, he does like 50 or 60. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, yeah. Well,
uh,
compared to what he would in the playoffs, I feel like. But then when he's playing the Warriors in the playoffs, that turns that shit to 110. Like,
No, and then that's the thing. It's just that, and I think Denver does have a team that's built around more playoffs. I don't know. I don't see them going as far as they did last year. I don't see them being Western Conference.
no. Trailblazers, again, they got Lillard.
Yeah.
Even CJ is not the best second option. Like, Melo, he's
So,
not great.
yeah, and then see, I think this is what's going to happen. Well, Utah is going to finish first. I think that's like kind of a given at this point.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be Utah, Phoenix first series. I think Utah is gonna have to like it's gonna be a 6-game series, I would say.
Well, Utah will probably have to play the Clippers before they play the Suns.
No, I think the
Oh,
Suns are gonna finish fourth. I think Clippers are gonna
yeah.
finish
I was
third.
just looking at their records.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Um,
that they're that close.
yeah, like then the Clippers have played 4 more games too. But
Yeah, so I mean, the Suns could be third.
yeah, they could be, but I think if the Lakers and Clippers are playing, even at full strength, I think the Clippers might have them. I think they might.
Man, I thought the Clippers were gonna be way better. I thought they were gonna be first this year though. Like they're not.
Playoffs though. They're built for the playoffs. They're not necessarily built for the regular season.
They are. They really
Patrick
are.
Beverly's gonna come out during the playoffs.
That's
Okay, well
true.
actually not Paul George, but
Yeah. Lou Will, but now they got Serge. That guy plays in the playoffs. He'll fucking pop off for 21 night and play solid defense, get you boards.
yeah.
They got where is he? Where's 6 9? Oh no, they lost him. That's right. He went later. I just as long as 80's back and healthy, the the Lakers won't have a problem with the Clippers. I don't think.
Mhm.
I don't think the Lakers will have a problem with the Suns. The only problem the Lakers will have is if Donovan Mitchell gets hot and the Jazz are playing good in the playoffs. That's their only competition to me.
My thing is if the Jazz play the Clippers,
You
if
guys are 1-1 this year, right?
yeah, if the Clippers are too physical with the Jazz and the Jazz are unable to match it because like they are a physical team, but like when you look at their all stars, like Donovan Mitchell is not a physical player. Bogan
Yeah. And
Bogdanovic is not physical.
would you say Gobert's a physical player?
I would say he is. Like he's in the
But
paint, like he's creating shit. Royce
he is,
O'Neal.
but would you say Ibaka would out physical him? Like, no?
No.
Like, because I feel like
But, like
I
my
feel
thing
like
is though,
Gobert's probably like a longer guy, but I feel like Serge would bully him with his weight and just push him around.
no,
But I don't watch
he's
Gobert that much.
so lanky. The only person who can bully around Gobert is Zion.
Yeah.
But like, he's a football player out there, dude. But my only thing is though, is the matchup between Patrick Beverly and Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell. If you're talking about that series, you winning, there's no question Donovan Mitchell needs to win that matchup. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
that shouldn't be a matchup. That shouldn't be in the conversation.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because Patrick Beverly is a shutdown defender. He has the ability to have Donovan Mitchell have like 2 or 3 off games in a series. It just depends if what those games align, and then so I don't know. I think the Jazz just have to match their intensity because they're a lot better team.
Who would you guys have guard Kawhi? Is Conley a good defender?
Royce O'Neal.
Isn't he too big to guard and slow to guard Kawhi?
Nah, man. Royce O'Neal's been like our main perimeter defender. He'll pick up your best player. And
Really?
he's in the starting lineup, which is deadly.
I know he's a solid defender, but
Good defender. Yeah,
I thought he
he's
was guarding big men.
No. He's like
6.
Kawhi
Oh, he's
size.
actually not that big. I thought he was bigger.
Yeah, I think he's like
6'1",
6'6", 6'7".
6'4", dude. 6'4".
Damn, bro. No way. He balls. I love Royce O'Neal.
I know. I seen you tweeting about him.
So I don't know. I think like Kawhi's gonna do his thing, but
Royce O'Neal's that guy that every team needs that like can shut people down. And you can move him around to guard different people depending like who's having that good night.
and honestly, those players are like the key to like having a good successful team. Like Draymond Green, for example, right? Draymond Green does more than Royce O'Neal, but like
he puts up more points for
it's like
sure.
it's like the man who
probably more assists.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. And then like the thing about the Jazz, which I like, and I'm gonna say it right now. I'm biased, obviously, but like also too not biased. I think it's gonna be Utah Jazz, Brooklyn Nets, NBA Finals.
Now what if AD is not back, and my true opinion is that AD is not coming back this year,
Mhm.
without knowing the severity of how bad his injury is, I would. I can't see the Lakers making it to the finals without AD because LeBron can't carry that load with what he's carrying now.
Mhm.
So I could see Jazz Nets very easily. Clippers, if Paul George learns how to play in the playoffs, I could see them. It's tough between those three, but with a
Mhm.
healthy AD, I'm going Lakers all day. But either or, whoever makes it the finals, I don't see anyone
But
stopping
so
a
like
healthy Brooklyn
even
Nets.
if so, what? How long do they say? It's like what? Like a few weeks till AD comes back. Apparently,
I think originally they said 2 weeks,
yeah, it's like a week
and
by
then
week.
after then they're like, we're waiting until after the All Star game, and we'll see after the All Star game what happens.
I don't know. I feel like if he's out longer than 2 to 3 weeks after the All-Star game, I think he's going to be out for too long to really come back and then make a playoff push.
Yeah, but if
Because,
he
well,
comes
I mean,
back
it all
fully
depends on the
healthy,
NBA. It depends
like
on
the
the
first playoff
playoff.
series is like a warm up, right? Like for the Lakers, it's the first playoff series is nothing. Like you'll
Let me
be playing
just
the
yeah.
Spurs first round.
Let me just. When does? Hmm. I'm trying to figure out when the playoffs start because I'm trying to figure it out because it's whole different this year. Is it
It should. I think it's starting around the same time, like Aprilish.
when? When do they even start? They'll usually June or no? They usually end in June or July.
Hold on, let me go to
I
the
think it's April.
schedule.
I think they're all
Last regular
on the way.
season game, March 16th, May 16th.
I was gonna say, bro, that's in
Sorry,
2 weeks. Like,
I just
LA's
seen
not,
M. Yeah,
LA's not going far, dude.
sorry, May 16th.
Okay, that makes sense. Hmm,
That's still a while. He's got lots of time to come back.
March. Oh yeah, no, he's got lots of time. Never mind. I forgot April's in there too.
Yeah, so you got a full 2 months still.
I don't know. I still think that I think this might just be the Jazz's year. Honestly, I'm biased, but
If they can get clicking like they were around playoff time, like I'm all for it. Like Jazz can be a fucking final team, but I don't think they can keep up with the shooting of Brooklyn. I don't think anyone can keep up with the shooting of Brooklyn, other than a healthy Golden State Warriors team.
I don't know, dude. The Jazz are shooting better than the Golden State Warriors did.
Right now, that's right now. I
Oh
just
yeah,
watched
no,
the last game.
100%.
Donovan Mitchell was not shooting well at
Okay, I'm
all.
not. I'm not saying they can't fall off, but I'm just saying too. Even in their losses, they are still like,
Scoring. No, but
yeah,
okay,
it's like,
but
yeah.
that's the thing. When you're giving up 130 to the Pelicans, you can't be giving up 110 to the fucking Nets.
Well, I don't know. It all varies because then they'll shut out a team underneath like 100, right? It all
Well, I
depends. I
mean,
think the
yeah, it depends
Pelicans
on the
just caught
team.
hot at the right time,
Oh,
right?
the
It just
Pelicans are a
that's
team
what
that they do
basketball.
catch fire and they just start hitting shots once in a while.
Yeah, and that's just what happens in basketball, right? Sometimes.
But that's the thing is, I wonder how the Nets, because like they're a terrible defensive team, terrible. I wonder what their playoff scores are going to be like.
Yeah, I'm interested to see because I haven't. It's never like been a game like that. Like I guess like you can kind of compare them to Houston last year though, but the thing about Houston last year is you just kind of you play really intense defense on James Harden and they're only going to put up 110, 100 points.
Yeah,
But it's like if you play intense defense on two of them, you still have the other person who get put up 40 then in a
yeah,
playoff situation
no,
like
for
that,
sure.
right?
Um,
So I don't know.
so in
Yeah, go ahead.
in your Jazz Nets final, who do you have winning? I'd say Nets in six over the Clippers. I'm gonna say this year. Nets in six over the Clippers.
That's a good
That's my
prediction.
prediction for this year.
I'm gonna say Jazz in 7
Over the Nets.
over the Nets, and this is my
I hope that happens. I like
me
the
too.
Nets. I like the Jazz.
Um, and
I like
this is what
Donovan
I'm gonna
Mitchell.
say is the Jazz are just gonna play really. They have enough good defenders. Donovan Mitchell is a good defender. Like he'll be able to guard Kyrie or um, like Mike Conley. He was always in the defensive player of the year conversation when he was in Memphis. they have enough players around the perimeter to force bad shots, and then they could play really aggressive up top
Yeah,
and then allow the mid ranges. But then it's like Gobert's at the rim. So it's like it's gonna be hard for them to score around the rim. Granted, like Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant are gonna do their thing around the rim. Like Gobert can only do so much, but
yeah.
I think when I look at that, that looks more promising as a defensive scheme to stop a team than what Brooklyn has. Like Brooklyn doesn't have anybody to stop the pick and roll.
No, yeah.
Brooklyn has nobody to stop the 3-point shooting
But
of
I
the
mean, well, like
Jazz. Like the Jazz
we'll
can match Brooklyn's shooting, but the Jazz are also better inside.
okay. Well, I don't consistently in the playoffs. I don't think I could say that Jazz can match their shooting, but that being said, for a series, if you can get 5-6 games where you're matching and you're putting up 110 and you're playing good defense, yeah, you'll
Yeah.
beat them. Like
Well, and that's the thing. You only
that,
need
I think
four
that's the
games to
key to beat
match.
them is be able to put up 110, 120 and playing good defense.
Yeah.
But you have to have your shooters have to be playing well.
Mhm.
That's all you need.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, we're still it's so hard to predict because we are 2 months away from the
Yeah,
playoffs starting,
and I
and
mean,
like
by the
so much
time the
can
playoffs
happen, and
start,
like
I
different
imagine.
schemes happen, trades happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I don't think Brooklyn has anything left to offer to trade. They got rid of everything for James Harden.
yeah,
So
and they also have nothing else to like show. They're doing the
like
only thing they can do.
they have, yeah. But
They
like
just
once
score.
playoff comes, like I think you're gonna see Harden try more on defense than he probably ever has in Houston.
Mm,
Kyrie will obviously play better. KD, I think people always talk about him as a better defender in playoffs because he actually tries, just like LeBron, right? Like there's no point of them trying that much in the regular season. But we'll just see how much better of a defensive team they really are.
I'm honestly I'm very excited for the NBA Finals. I'm excited for the playoffs this year as well too. Even in the East, even if the teams are shitty, I think the games are going to be
It'll be
good at least
competitive.
because you have
Yeah.
teams that are both 500,
Like,
right?
dude, if Charlotte is in the playoffs, it's lit. The fucking Knicks make the playoffs for the first time in fucking our life.
LaMelo Ball is low key insane.
Like he was having a
He's
good,
balling, bro.
he was having a good start to the year, especially for a rookie. Like for rookies, it was a good start. But now he's just improved and improved and just better and better and better, man.
He's he's so cocky that it like benefits him
But I mean, like
because he's a baller. He has the mentality. He's going out
he's
there.
got a shot.
He has the confidence. He has the confidence in himself and in the abilities, and it's showing. It's not like he's going out there and doing all this stupid stuff and it's like backfiring and he behind the back pass or going to bounds. It's like it's
Yeah.
working, man. He's balling out right now.
I think that's the key to like rookies, especially in the NBA, is when they're confident, they're so much better. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're confident in your abilities and you're 100% confident, you're gonna be good. And
Well, yeah, especially as a rookie.
well, as long as you have the skill set, obviously.
Yeah, because like if you're a rookie, you're out there and you're like, okay, I don't want to mess up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let
If
me
that's
just
your mindset, you're probably gonna fuck up.
probably right, and that's the sad reality. Like I think, but like Lamelo's just in this position too, where it's in a perfect position for him.
Yeah.
Like he has nothing to prove. He's on a crappy team with low expectations. Go out there and ball. Why not? You got nothing to
Yeah.
these hiccups, but you got nothing to lose.
No, for sure. And who knows? They could be a good team in a few years. You never know. The Nets went from a not great team to fucking are both.
I don't think they unless they their team is at a point where it's like they're peaking right now. But like in 2 years, if they were to keep the same team, they're not gonna be good. Like Terry Rozier is just having a good year. Gordon Hayward, like I think in the next 2 years, he's gonna start going downhill a bit. Like he's not
Yeah, I was gonna say he's getting older, so
right. So they although with this momentum, it might give them more of an attractive free market agency, especially with LaMelo Ball. Like people might
no,
want to
for
play
sure.
with him.
That's yeah, exactly. That's the
Right.
whole thing,
So
right? You got to attract those free agents.
literally, but
All
we're
right.
gonna wrap this pitch